motherfucker, you can't have my cornbread. That's for damn sure. Because if you try to take my cornbread, part 2 of my killing spree gonna begin up in here on your ass right now. If you think about my cornbread, get the taste out your mouth. That's for damn sure. Now fuck him, fuck that, because I'm from New York City, goddammit. Nobody take no cornbread from me. That goes for you and any other you motherfucking farmers wanna try some shit. You fuck around with me, it's gonna be consequences and repercussions.
Haters gonna hate, and ain'ters gonna ain't.
What's good, family?
That is not an action.
Welcome to another episode of the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. You can follow us on our social media on Twitter at BarbershopSPOR2. Also on Twitter, also on Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Shout out to all of our Facebook Live users. Make sure y'all continue to follow us on Facebook. Follow the Facebook page, and also on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm Trey Frazier. I got my brother Maestro Styles here in the building.
You
back like we never left. Was good, man. How we feeling today?
Hey man. Hey, I ain't ready to do no talking, man. Let's get to the sports shit, man.
Yeah, let's do it, man. And I'll be honest with you, I'm trying to figure out.
I'm sorry, I lied. Happy Father's Day, happy belated Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Let me make sure I say that.
No doubt. Happy Father's Day to everybody. Had a wonderful weekend. What's good, man? What do you want to start off with? You want to start with the Nets and the Bucks and kind of recap that not the whole thing, but obviously Game 7. Was a classic.
Yeah, man, it was a classic. Unfortunately, I was drunk through the majority of it. I did see it; it was on mute. But I'm here for the bullet points.
Yeah, man. Listen, shout out. I got to give the credit where it's due, right? We've been harping on the Bucks for a few years now, and we talk about how Giannis can't shoot free throws, and he still can't shoot free throws, even though there was a stretch where he dropped like 6 in a row in Game 7. So, you got to give him that, credit where it's due. I mean, we talk about the coaching with this team and how it's some of the most dumbest coaching that I've ever seen, but I got to give props to the Bucks, man. Drew Holiday, and I tweeted it out during Game 7 that he's had a terrible series against the Nets, but down the stretch, he knocked down a couple of huge 3-pointers that kept the Bucks alive in the game. And Chris Middleton, clearly, whether you want to view him as an all-star or just a regular dude, the dude is clearly the closer for the Milwaukee Bucks. And down the stretch, this dude was knocking down shots, was getting guys, open shots and things like that. And to Giannis, and I've been saying for a while, like, you're not a 3-point shooter. Do what you do best, and that's get in the paint, to get your points that way. And he got in the paint down the stretch in the clutch, and he got those shots to fall. But on the Nets side, right? Kevin Durant, man, and I got to go back to game
Hold on. Let me cut you off. Let me cut you off before we get to the Nets. Let me get you. First and foremost, before I throw the hate in the shade, congratulations to the Bucks for beating the Brooklyn Nets. Giannis scored 40. Chris Middleton did his thing. Drew Holiday. All these things are true. All these things are true. They are in the Eastern Conference Finals to play the Hawks. But I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like they didn't beat. I'm not gonna sit here and act like they beat a team that was. They should have beat this team. Is what I'm saying in short. James Harden was not healthy, even though he played, but he was not healthy. Kyrie Irving was not there for the majority of the series. Kevin Durant did all that he could, but we're not on the Nets right now. The Milwaukee Bucks won, and they deserve that credit. But I'm not ready to start acting like they got over some hump yet. And if I'm being honest, this is the year for the Bucks to win the finals. And that's for me. For me, that's the expectation. They should win their expectation is to win the finals for me. Because even going into the Hawks series, this should be. I mean, no disrespect to the Hawks. This should be light. This should be easy work. I'm not saying they're going to sweep them.
Gentlemen sweep, right?
Nah, I think it'll be Milwaukee in 6, or I'll even say 5. But
this should be
easy work. Oh, okay, that's a gentleman's sweep, right? You're right, but this should be easy work. And if God forbid the Hawks take the Bucks to 7, or even worse, beat the Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, like this for me, this Milwaukee praise party is like, give them props where it's due. They're in the conference finals. Yeah, but that's where it stops, man. But because I don't like, let's be clear, Kevin Durant don't got such big feet. We're probably not even talking about Milwaukee Bucks being in the Eastern Conference Finals. We're dogging the Bucks right now.
Yeah, no question.
So I mean, obviously that's the way the ball rolls, or whatever, idiosyncrasy anecdote you want to throw into the situation. But it's like,
and
they beat a hobble team. They beat a hobble team.
To add to that, because you're right, and I didn't want it to go unnoticed on my side that the Nets were compromised. I mean, it was clear. Kyrie twisted the ankle in Game 4, and even kind of going back to Game 3. That Game 3 was just a defensive struggle that you could have argued the Milwaukee Bucks almost blew Game 3 and could have been down 3 games to none. But they pulled that game out, and then they get the Game 4, and Kyrie twists the ankle. And so now you're saying, okay, this is a series without even knowing whether Harden's going to try to come out and be Superman or not. And obviously he did. He comes out. And I give Harden all the props and all the credit for playing all those minutes that he played on one leg. I give him a ton of credit for coming out and dogging it and doing what he had to do. But I think here's where we kind of differ in a sense. I still had the Nets winning this series.
So did I.
Okay. Yeah, I still had the Nets winning this series. I mean, for me, Milwaukee had to win Game 5 for me. If they didn't win that game, to me, they lost the series already. I knew they were going to get Game 6 back home, and I knew Game 7, it was going to come down to it. NBK, Kevin Durant, James Harden, who, by the way, played better in Game 6 than he did in Game 5. So you thought that, okay, maybe this is James Harden starting to feel himself.
He was still playing bad. His shooting. He
well,
wasn't shooting
the way
well.
he looked, I agree. The way he looked, he still looked, unordinary. But the production in terms of that, the production of James Harden got better in Game 6 than it did in Game 5.
Because he scored 22 in Game 6?
He scored 17 in Game 6, and he dropped 5 points in Game 5. Yeah.
So
yeah.
What was
He was the game that he dropped 22.
I feel like it was a game where he scored. I thought it was a game where he scored 22. I thought it was Game
Game 7, maybe Game 7.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, I didn't watch Game 7. I had that on. I literally had that on mute for the majority of the games because I was doing my thing.
Yeah, but that was
irregardless.
that was the thing
regardless,
for me. Right. That was the thing for me, was that it was Game 7. It was in BK. Kevin Durant's on the floor. James Harden, while he was not 100%, was going to be a little bit better. I thought we were going to get a Joe Harris sighting finally. I thought we were going to get 5 3-pointers from him, and maybe that would be a difference in the final score. Joe Harris still hadn't showed up. As that game was going on, they took like a 10-point lead, and Milwaukee just kept fighting back. Every time the Nets tried to pull away, Milwaukee had an answer.
Right.
And I think that's where it stops for me in terms of giving the Bucks credit, is that they were in this position to win. Now, Brook Lopez, I was going to dog him, had Durant's foot not been an inch longer because of the play before the Durant game-tying shot. That's a bad pass if you're Brook Lopez and you got 2 seconds on a shot clock. You got to at least throw it up and at least give the team a chance, and maybe knocks a few seconds off the clock or something like that. But that was a bad play, and that could have cost them, had Durant really shot a 3-pointer there. But then you get into overtime, and they went almost 4 minutes without scoring a point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Nets had their first 2 points, and then Milwaukee went on like this 3.5 minute drought of not scoring. And then finally they show up, right? They get the buckets. Middleton gets, knocks a shot down. And then Kevin Durant tries to give it all he could on the final shot, and he airballs it. And, that was kind of all she wrote right there. But I'm with you in the sense that it stops right there in terms of Milwaukee, because there's still things for me that I got to criticize about the Bucks that could have cost them Game 7.
Yeah, I mean, let's be clear. If his feet is a little bit shorter, smaller, that's a 3-pointer and this game over. I mean, let's be clear. Mm-hmm. They are in the conference finals, and I'm sorry. I guess you never know how that whole how the ball rolls theory.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And there's a lot of things
really
you can
know.
point to too. There's a lot of other things you can point to also. No question.
For me, just in me watching the highlights, the replay, yep. They lose that game if his feet is smaller.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah, congratulations, and obviously you had to score all the points up until that point, and in the overtime you had to score, in overtime, and Giannis, I believe it was in overtime where Giannis literally put KD in the block, hit a little hook shot on him, and so. I mean, that's not to say that the Bucks didn't win the game and they didn't deserve to win. It's just that, for me,
we know why the Milwaukee Bucks are in the conference finals. We know why they're there.
Exactly.
They're there because of the absence of Kyrie Irving and a one-legged James Harden. We know why they're there.
And even on a more practical scale or simpler scale, because Kevin Durant got big feet. They're in the finals because he got big feet.
The man Ben had big feet, bro.
Yeah, no. I mean, but did you see how close he was to that being a 3-pointer? Like,
yes, I did. Yeah,
so I mean, it's
I thought it was a 3. I thought it was a 3 when it happened.
Like everybody else did, right? So
I thought it was a 3.
Kevin, getting to the, that's just what that is. Getting to the net side though.
Yep.
Kevin Durant. There's nothing more to be said. There's nothing. I mean, do I wish he didn't shoot the air ball before going into overtime? Sure, but I mean, the Bama scored 48. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's for me, and it always comes down to this for me. I say it every single podcast when we're talking about the playoffs. You gotta when you that dude. You got to overperform, especially in these types of situations. They looking for their leader to lead, and Kevin Durant did it. Kevin Durant did it when he played every free, like in those past 3 or 4 games, he might have been on the bench for all of 7 minutes, and he was putting up numbers.
In Game 5, he played every minute.
Every single
Game
minute. But I believe he sat.
In Game 6, he sat about 5 minutes.
Right.
And then, obviously, Game 7, he played every minute, including the overtime. 53 minutes total.
Yeah, so what I was told, so what I heard was that in the Game 6 was where he got the rest.
Yep.
So 5 and 7, he played every second of the game, put up career numbers both times.
Yep.
And so it's like,
Yep.
Joe Harris, could you have maybe made an extra 3? I heard the Bama on FS1, Nick Wright talking about, if James Harden would have hit maybe 1 more 3 or 2 more 3s, they wouldn't have been here. Like all those types of things. And yeah, you could throw those. You could blame,
and you could go back to the Game 3 performance. You could go back to that Game 2, because that was for the taking.
Yeah.
That was
even
for the
that
taking
was
right
and
there.
wasn't that game even won off of a buzzer beater? Wasn't that the buzzer beater?
That was not the buzzer beater. No.
Well, hold on, I'm tripping. Where was the game where Chris Middleton hit a fadeaway to win the game?
I thought that was against the. Wasn't that against the Heat in the first round?
Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe it was against the Heat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
in any event, man, like again, the Nets. I mean, or specifically Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant he just didn't have that little minuscule bit of help that he needed to pull it off.
Yeah, Joe Harris was terrible. Joe Harris was terrible. And not just this game, but throughout the entire playoffs or throughout the entire series, I should say, he was not himself. I mean, compared to what he was in the regular season. So you just gotta, again, the Bucks deserve credit, but the Bucks, I still have my things about Milwaukee.
This is their year, bro.
Yeah.
They got to do it this year. I feel like they got to do it this year.
Yeah, so let's kind of discuss that, right? Because we got the Hawks, and well, before we discuss that, I do got to talk about the Hawks and the Sixers. I really do have to talk about that.
Can we talk about the Bucks first and then get to the Hawks and Sixers?
Okay, we can talk about the Bucks.
Yeah. Because this is important. Because you and me have been specifically critical. I mean, I guess like a lot of the media world has been critical on Giannis, deservingly so.
Yep.
And they're in a situation where they beat the finals favorites.
Yep. Hobbled. Not 100%.
But they're here now. They're here now.
Yep, they're here.
And the Hawks don't match up well against the Bucks.
Right.
They don't match up well. So
right.
They should dominate. And then, the winner of the whoever they got to see in the West, but they have an unique opportunity where their path to the finals was not that difficult.
Yep.
And they have first team defensive player, and yes, it's with quotations to me now because he seemed like he didn't never want to guard KD.
That's another criticism I have.
Yeah, right. So
he never guarded Durant in the series at all. I'm sorry. That's why it stops there for me, because you got out of the series, but when it was time to guard the best player, you didn't guard the best player. You're a two-time defensive player of the year. And he went off. Yeah.
And he went off, and you did nothing to stop it. I'm sorry. That's where you yell at coaches. That's why coaches get yelled at. Because even if the coach was like, nah, we want you to, stay in the scheme of whatever's, the scheme of the defensive plan or whatever, even if that was the case, nah, Slim is going off, and I'm defensive player of the year, some years back, and I'm first team all defensive player this year. I need to be guarding this dude who's literally my size. Like what? Why am I not guarding him? I'm not even the go-to guy on offense, so I got energy.
I got a quote for you, and I took a snapshot of my TV I was watching, and I think this was Clippers and Jazz game that I was watching the other night. And on a little ticker at the bottom of the screen on ESPN, quote, Giannis is ready to guard Durant if called on. See, I got a problem with that, bro.
Yeah.
I got a
Yeah.
problem with that. If called on, hell no. You
No.
supposed to be the defensive player of the year. Ain't nobody gonna call me to guard Durant. I gotta
I'm
be the
going to
if I'm
guard
Giannis, I
Durant.
gotta be the one to say, yo, I want this dude. Like right now.
Right.
That's a problem for me if you're
Here's
called
the
on. Like
But here's the thing. He don't want that. He don't want smoke. He don't want smoke. And
well, we gonna find out. We gonna find out
but
about these
well,
Bucks.
it's no finding out. It's over. He ain't got nobody at that. I mean, unless the Suns get there, he don't got nobody at that level to have to guard. I mean, with respect to how good PG has played since Kawhi's been out, he ain't that.
Yep.
So the only person that's close to that is Devin Booker, so if the Suns make it, I would hope that he would be trying to strap up on Devin Booker, and there you go. Then that's the we'll find out situation that you're referring to. But he ain't got to see nobody. For all we know, he ain't got to see nobody at that caliber no more.
So, are you also in turn saying that he is the best player left in these playoffs between the 4 teams?
By default.
Interesting. And I thought you was for me it's Devin Booker.
Yes.
Right now.
Yeah. No. Let's be clear. Let me clarify my stance.
Okay.
I think Devin Booker is a better basketball player than Giannis Antetokounmpo. But Giannis Antetokounmpo is the guy that the NBA wanted.
That's what the team wants him
the
to
golden
do.
boy.
That's what the media wants.
Right, that's the golden boy. So the golden boy, they all the attention is going to go to him if he goes to the finals. All it's going to be him. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is his opportunity. Man, if they don't win the finals this year, bruh, I don't know what else you need. It's like all the conversations about Ben Simmons, and I know we're gonna get there, but all them conversations have to come to Giannis Antetokounmpo's doorstep if they don't win the finals this year. It has to come to his doorstep as well.
So here's how I look at it, and I'm just gonna clarify. Devin Booker for me is the best player left in these playoffs, assuming Kawhi Leonard doesn't come back from this injury.
Right.
For me, the Atlanta Hawks, up and coming team, no pressure, nothing to lose, no expectations. They got as far as anybody thought they would get. The Phoenix Suns, talked about it a few weeks ago. 10 years out the playoffs, first year in. They get a hobbled Lakers team. Then they get a hobbled Nuggets team. And they go about as far as maybe some people might have thought. Like, the Suns haven't been there as much as Milwaukee has been the last few years. And then you got the Clippers. And the Clippers, that's the wild card. That's sort of the wild card team. And it's really because of Kawhi Leonard. And we don't know what the deal is. Some people are saying he's got the ACL. Some people are saying, it's just a regular knee injury. So we have no idea if we're ever going to Kawhi. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's conflicting stuff out there, but I don't know if we're going to get him back or not. So, but assuming he doesn't come back, the Milwaukee Bucks of the 4 teams are the most experienced team left in this tournament. So yeah, they better win it all. Yeah, this year. Yeah, they better.
And this will get the monkey.
And I'm not even. And I wouldn't be upset if the Hawks took them to 7 games, right? Like, I know you and I, we differ, like, with certain series. Like, if they, they got to sweep this team, otherwise they can't be taken serious. Like, I don't care about that. Like, if the Hawks take them to 7 and the Bucks end up, knocking them off in 7 games, okay, fine. You're in the finals. That's what counts. You're in the finals. It's the last stop in the tournament. And whoever comes out on the other side, you're going to have to deal with that team on the other side.
Yeah, where we agree is that the Bucks got to win this year, man. The Bucks got to win this year, and God forbid that Giannis continues this trend. Because let's be clear, he hasn't been bad in this playoffs, and to no stretch of the imagination,
the numbers
statistically
crazy.
are there. They're there.
Yeah.
They're there. But it's these constant. It's the free throw shooting. It's the being made fun of the free throw shooting, even though that has started to help him now. It's the disappearing in fourth quarters. It's these things.
Got another violation, another 10-second violation.
I mean, at this point, it's like should Chris Middleton be getting that contract, that big supermax money that Giannis is getting? Should it be Chris Middleton getting that money? And of course, we know that the answer is no. But I mean, come on, man! Like you got Chris Middleton effectively, and I get it. Teams, coaches say, if Chris Middleton is a better shooter, then he should close. All those things that people say. Yeah. Giannis Antetokounmpo should be closing. He's getting paid the big dollars to be the man. He's not getting paid big dollars to pass the ball off to Chris Middleton and say hit a free throw or hit a fadeaway to win a game or be Batman in the fourth quarter while I dominate quarters 1 through 3. That's not what he was paid for. I don't believe that. So I mean, I get you make adjustments, you do what you gotta do to win games, but Chris Middleton should not be that guy. I mean, he just shouldn't be. I mean, God forbid he does enough of this Batman histrionics, and then he's like, well, why am I not getting paid what he getting paid? Right, let me go somewhere where I'm getting paid the way he getting paid, because essentially I'm doing this job in the fourth quarter.
Man, God bless Chris Middleton, man. If it's not for him, if it ain't for him, they might still not be in this tournament, bro. Oh man! Again, you don't think of him as like, and I know we made an all-star team, I think last year or something like that. But he's
a good player.
Yeah. I mean, he was and I just found this out. Like, dude was in the G League for like a minute, and then he got bought up and he turned out to be this, good player, whatever. Yeah. I mean, very productive, average 20 points a game. That's really good coming from where he came from. But Chris Middleton, I mean, in terms of the pay scale and responsibilities, like he's doing more than what he's getting paid right now to close games and stuff. And I gotta mention this too. I'm sorry, and I know I talked about Jrue Holiday. And I tweeted this out during the game that, number one, he had a terrible series, I thought, up until the final few minutes of Game 7. But it seemed to me like I'm not seeing a difference between him and Eric Bledsoe. Like they bought him in. What's that?
I told you that when they got him. I told you he wasn't going to make that. He wasn't going to make. That he wasn't going to make much big of a difference than what Eric Bledsoe did when he was in Milwaukee.
Oh, okay. I don't remember that, but
I remember it specifically, and it's funny because I was sitting there, I was looking at Twitter and I saw that tweet, but I was like, man, I'm not going to keep checking my phone if he responds to me saying I told you so. So I didn't, reply. But
I don't remember you making that statement. But I'm not going to say you lying.
Sure. But I remember we would obviously earlier in the season, and we were having a conversation about who was going to be what in the season, and you was speaking about Jrue Holiday being one of the better two-way players in the league, and he is. But I was like, it's not going to make much of a difference. Because at least offensively, he's essentially Eric Bledsoe. I get that he carries, he's a little better defensively.
Defensively,
yeah. But I don't know that that's going to make that much of a difference on this team as far as their aspirations to win a title. And I mean, there he is.
I'll think of it this way: does Eric Bledsoe make those shots in Game 7? I'll think about.
Eric Bledsoe takes them. Eric Bledsoe takes them.
Okay. Fair enough.
I mean,
fair enough. I can't recall Eric Bledsoe moment where he was big down a stretch of an important game. Maybe for me that's it.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's be clear. I'm going to forget Jrue Holiday's contribution to this game by next month. So, You know what I'm saying? Because he's just not a player like that that's on my radar like that. So I mean, so
Right.
Eric Bledsoe may have had a moment like that, but I wouldn't remember it. So that's kind of hard to say.
Maybe for me, yeah. Maybe
Yeah,
that's it for me.
yeah,
So
but I mean, yeah. So I mean, I'll say this, and I won't stretch it. I won't stretch that conversation about the Milwaukee Bucks too much further. They got to win the chip, bro. For this to be a success,
yep.
they got to win the chip, man. Because now you're counting on Brooklyn being injured again next year.
Nah. I mean, and then I mean, Atlanta's up and coming. We'll see what the Knicks do.
Boston, you would think would have a better year.
The Heat. Let's see what happens with the Heat, and what moves they make. So yeah, if you're Milwaukee, this has got to be the year that you finally, get
easy
the chip.
Easy playoff run. In the first round, you got to exercise your demons.
Yep. And they wanted it too. They wanted the Heat.
Yeah. You get to exercise your demons in the first round. You get the injured Nets in the next round, and then you get a undersized Atlanta Hawks in the conference finals. I mean,
surprise Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah,
at that.
I'm telling you something good, man. If Ice Trey and the freaking Atlanta Hawks get out of this series and go to the finals, I am going to have smoke for the Milwaukee Bucks.
And speaking of smoke, because I did say earlier in the season that regardless of what happens to the Nets during the playoffs, that if they didn't get to the finals and win the chip, then I was going to have smoke for them. Well, I put on Twitter that I was like, you know what? I got to pass. I can't do it. I can't do it. As much as I want to, and as much as I believe Kevin Durant to be the best player in the league right now, I couldn't do it.
I mean,
as
he
much
did
as
what he
I
was
wanted
supposed to do.
Yeah. I mean, as much as I wanted to give him smoke, I couldn't do it. I mean, Kyrie, you saw the way that ankle turned. Like, he wasn't coming back from that. And, James Harden, much props. He did what he, tried to do, but it wasn't enough, man. Let me give a shout out to ABM in our Facebook live chat. Just a few things here. He says it's simple. Giannis is from another country like Ben Simmons. They aren't built for man-to-man competition. Those dudes never played in a park. It's no surprise to me. I can't speak for the, how they play growing up in other countries. I can't speak for that.
Because it sounds like he's saying they play soccer over there. They don't play no ball.
That's what it sounds. That's what it sounds
like he's saying, right?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. I can't speak for that, but I hear you, ABM. I hear you. He also said Holiday is a much better point guard than Bledsoe. He just didn't shoot well because he relied on launching threes. The dumb coach, and we never mentioned Budenholzer in this, but his job was on the line if he didn't get past the Nets, and rightfully so. He says dumb coaching should put him against Trey Young and attack a one-legged Harden. And I think he makes a great point in terms of James Harden, because in Game 5, nobody even tested his leg. Like, nobody even gave him the smoke to say, hey, what you going to do on one leg? They didn't do that. And that's another criticism of the Milwaukee Bucks that I have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a fact. I mean, to the point where, that was the same game where James Harden was waving off the double team on Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Giannis shot a jumper, a mid-range jumper, as if to say, like, oh shit, I can't. And even more than that, as if James Harden hasn't had his defensive deficiencies in his career.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's it's kind of
I know.
It's kind of funny to me, man.
One more thing about James Harden. I don't know if people picked up on this at the end of Game 7 in overtime. So the ball gets inbounded to Durant, and Durant is like, yo. And to me, the body language told me, yo, I'm tired. James, you take the shot. He passed the ball to James, and James was like, yo, I don't want these problems. You take it. You take the shot. And then he takes the shot and then he airballs it. James Harden didn't want he didn't want them problems. He didn't want to take that shot.
But he ain't 100%. We know,
Yeah.
but let's be clear. We know 100% James Harden takes that, like, he takes that shot with no problem.
Sure. I mean, he hit a shot like that banked off the glass, and it was a 3-point shot earlier in that game.
You know I hate back, and you know how I feel about.
I know. It was a lucky shot though. Like he just threw that up because time was running out.
I know.
But yeah, James Harden, he didn't want none of that at the last moment of the game there. So,
but I won't hold that against him, because even that's coaching and conditioning. It's like, I know who the guy is. So maybe Kevin Durant gave it to him to get free and get it back. So I mean, I wouldn't necessarily hold that. I wouldn't necessarily hold that against Harden either.
Yeah, good point. So 76ers. This is a disappointment for the 76ers to lose this series to the Hawks. And look, I mean, I guess we can throw injuries out there. I don't know how much Danny Green means to the 76ers. I don't know if he means that much to them.
I'm sure he means something, but nah.
Not in the sense that you would lose this series. And a lot of people are getting on Ben Simmons, and rightfully so. 3 field goals in the fourth quarter throughout the entire series. That's unacceptable. I got to point something else out too, man. I think this goes unnoticed. Games 4 and 5, the Sixers blew double-digit leads. In the fourth,
that didn't go unnoticed. That didn't go unnoticed.
Well, they're not talking about it. They're not talking about it.
Shit. When I turn on TNT on YouTube, that's all they're talking about is how them leads they was blowing.
Oh, okay. I was
sure. I was.
All the talk is about Ben Simmons, and the talk should be about Ben Simmons, but they lost this series in more ways than just Ben Simmons not wanting to shoot in the fourth quarter. They blew those double-digit leads.
They blew it as a team, but this goes back, and I like when I'm right, but I don't like that I'm right in this situation. I would have loved to have been wrong about Ben Simmons, and everybody when he was drafted was so high on Ben Simmons, and he was going to be this great, and for all intents and purposes, for those who call Ben Simmons a bust, you're wrong. Like that's you're overreacting. Like that's he's not a bust. He's one of the better defenders in the game. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
He he is.
Might be top 3. Might be a top 3 defender in the game.
Yeah. So no, he's not a bust. Is he underachieving? 100%. He's 100% underachieving, and I don't know if you caught this, but I'm sure you have if you turned on your phone and went to any social media. But today on First Take, Stephen A. got the text from his credible source that
it's probably Joel
nobody. I don't give a damn who it was. I just, I kind of, I might be, it might be me hating because I don't have no inside sports source to the NBA, NFL, or whatever. But I'll ask you, do it feel kind of cheesy when he just, now all of a sudden his phone is always on his desk and he constantly checking his phone because people are texting him and giving him information, live feed during the show. I don't know. It's kind of corny to me at this point. But
no, I don't think it's corny. And here's why I say it's not corny, because I see other guys, particularly on the NFL Network, that do those shows. Their phones are constantly ringing. You know what I'm saying?
Their phones be ringing live?
No, I'm not saying the phones are ringing live. I'm saying that while those insiders do guest appearances on Total Access or one of the other live shows that they do on the NFL Network, that those guys have their phones near them. So in case,
but you talking about people? You talking about hosts of the show, or you talking about people that are doing guest spots?
I'm talking about
because that's different.
I'm talking about people like Ian Rappaport.
Okay, but he's different though. But he's different
But he's kind of Stephen A. in a sense. I know Stephen A. is a bigger, personality. But
what show is Ian Rappaport on?
Total Access. I'm trying to
Like
think.
he
He's
sits
like,
at the desk in studio.
no. He doesn't sit at the desk. Sometimes, and I'll give you a perfect example. So, I'll watch the episode of Good Morning Football, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Ian Rappaport will do like a guest appearance, right? They'll ask him questions about, let's say it's the Bengals or somebody like that, and then he'll be talking or whatever. And then next thing you know, they'll come back for a break, and then he'll be like, "Yo, I just got a source. I wanted to confirm this, and I wanted to put it out there that hey, such and such happened." So he'll get news during it, like either during an interview or like while they're like on a break or something like that, and he'll share that information with the people. Sort of similar to what Stephen A does. He's doing a show. Sometimes he gets texts on a break. Sometimes he gets it during the show. And whenever he has the opportunity to give that information, he gives that information out.
Okay, so my rebuttal to that is Ian
Mm-hmm.
Rappaport is not the host of a TV show. He's a guest spot. And
Fair,
who and more
fair.
so more than that, he is an NFL insider.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen A, while he does have obviously he has connections to the what goes on to inner dealings, he's not an NBA insider. His job is to host First Take and whatever other shows
Mm-hmm.
he hosts. So the fact that you feel like you need to keep your phone on the side like you're an insider,
Right.
it's cute. It's cute the first couple of times, but at now it's like, nigga, like, are you hosting the show or are you trying to get inside sources? Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It just
I'll
seemed a
give
little
him a
corny to
pass.
me.
I'll give him a pass because
I
he
mean,
used to do that. He used to do that before Stephen A became Stephen A. So
I
it's not like it's not like he hasn't done this in the past. You know what I'm saying? Like he used to do this for a long time. It's just that now he's on a bigger stage and he does First Take and he does other things. That doesn't
he ain't
mean
never do that
that
shit with Skip.
what's that?
He ain't never do that shit when Skip was the host.
Um, I might have
Hell,
recalled maybe one time. I might have
I don't
recalled one
recall
time
him
where he
ever
did that.
doing that when Curry Champion was the moderator. I'm gonna tell you when I noticed it happening a lot.
Uh-huh.
When he started when he read up with ESPN and he became the official biggest the official biggest
The
person at
face
ESPN.
of ESPN,
Yeah,
yeah.
when he officially became that, that's when I noticed all of a sudden now I gotta keep a phone by me because I'm getting and I you know what,
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, it don't matter. I'm sure he don't give a fuck what the fuck I got to say about him keeping his phone. I'm just saying it seemed a little
Yeah.
corny. Uh it seemed a little staged. You know what I'm saying? It seemed a little
Mm-hmm.
staged that he wanted to have some juice and I mean
Yeah.
I would go as far as to say that that leak of news
Right.
was planned before the show came on.
Wouldn't surprise me either way. I
So
mean,
so
I,
it's
I
corny.
like
It's corny. It's
it's like
corny.
I
It was
said,
corny when Shannon Sharp did it.
with Julio, right? Is and
Yeah,
it's
it was corny.
but for me that was planned. Ain't nobody can tell me any different. Like that, Julio Jones knew he was on live TV. I don't care what anybody has to say, whether they thought he didn't know or not. No, that nigga knew he was on live TV.
Yeah,
But
that
it's
shit
just like
corny.
I was saying the other week. Like Kendrick Perkins says on one show, "Hey, I'm surprised Brad Stevens step down." And then the following show after First Take Sports Center, he comes on and says, "Hey, yeah, I wasn't surprised, man. I was talking to so and so and da 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 da." So yeah, these people, they, you know, some of it is truthful, some of it is just for the TV. So it wouldn't surprise me either way who his source
Yeah,
is
it's
or if it's
that
planned or
just was
not. It
yeah,
wouldn't
that was just
surprise
corny to
me.
me. But getting back to the news, he don't practice, he don't work,
Mhm.
he don't do the necessary things to
He used the
improve.
word "babied," I think,
Yes, that he was
in
baby
that
by his
monologue.
by he's
Yeah,
baby by his inside circle. Um,
yeah.
and I mean, hell, it shows on his it shows in his
Mm-hmm.
product. I mean, it's like somebody I read somebody saying he hasn't really improved since high school. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I don't pretend to have been watching him in high school, but I remember seeing
Right.
him in LSU and everybody was so excited. And that's not he was good in LSU, but Now
Yeah.
that you're in a situation where you with people your size and your speed, and you kind of got to take jumpers nowadays. And now it's like I never believed it. I remember saying it. I remember saying it 2 years ago. I remember saying it 3 and 4 years ago. It's like this dude. I don't believe him. I don't believe him. I don't believe him. And it's just, I mean, it's just coming to fruition for now. I don't like being right about that because I would love to see that black man get a jumper and be, up there with with the elites of the game.
Yep.
But
Yep.
I ain't believe him. More
Yeah.
concerned with
Well,
hollering at these
look.
joints in LA and Miami.
Yeah. Well, look. I got the perfect trade. I know everybody's trying to trade him someplace, and
And I don't think he
I
going nowhere.
I don't either, but I think some of the stuff that I'm hearing, like him for CJ McCollum, like I think that's ridiculous because I don't think Portland wants to give up CJ McCollum. I
Oh,
mean,
sure, but
why
I'm sorry to cut you off, but because
go
the
ahead.
conversation is what makes sense. I mean, meaning what would be a good fit, and CJ McCollum in
Yeah,
Philadelphia would
right.
be a good fit, obviously, but we're just talking about basketball at that point. So it's not like we're sitting there talking about the ins and outs
Right.
of a trade being done. I think they were just talking about fit wise,
Hmm.
and yeah, for them to have a guard.
Sure. But in order for I was just gonna say, in order for the fit to come to fruition, you got to talk about the basketball moves. You got to talk about,
Uh,
okay,
Not
how
really.
can we get CJ McCollum? Because
Well,
that's
not
the only
really at
way
this
he's
phase.
coming here. What's
Yeah,
that?
but not really at this. Not really. I mean, yeah, if we're talking about it for real, if we're talking about it. But we all know that
Yeah.
at this stage of the season, meaning we're literally talking about right now. We're talking about the Eastern Conference final. The semis.
Yep.
Um, we obviously we're not talking about right now trading Ben Simmons to Portland. I mean, they had just been put out the playoffs, so obviously we're not talking about. I think this was more of a speculative thing than a serious thing.
Sure.
Uh,
But
so
Philly want
so
him
when
out
you're
of
in a
there.
speculation phase, no, Philly
Yeah.
fans want him out of there. Those are two different
That's what I'm
things.
talking about. That's what I'm talking
Okay,
about.
well, fans don't dictate what million dollar
Philly fans
organizations
want him
do.
out of there. Doc Rivers don't even seem like he want Ben Simmons after all this time of him
Yeah,
defending
but he
him.
came
Like,
back. He came back. Yeah, I'm about to say he came back and defended
you
him
know,
though. And that's what he's supposed to do. I don't think Ben Simmons goes anywhere, and especially not on the dime of angry Philly,
mhm.
fans.
Here's what I think. I think he stays as long as somebody in an organization gets this dude to really like work on his shooting, free throws, the jumper. Like
Shooting
somebody
period,
needs to work.
everything. He sucks at everything.
Somebody needs to work with this cat to get him to where they would like him to be in terms of shooting the basketball. A reason why I think he will stay. Now, if he doesn't do those things, and the Sixers don't believe that he's going to do those things, the one trade that I think they could make, and I'm not sure how Philly would feel about this guy, but Kemba Walker just got dealt to the Oklahoma City Thunder from Boston. Um, I think the Oklahoma City Thunder would make a move like that because look, the Thunder, they're garbage, so they don't have any future plans. They got a whole bunch of draft picks and things like that. Why not trade Ben Simmons to Oklahoma City, get Kemba Walker? You're at least guaranteed that you filled the point guard position. You know Kemba Walker can shoot. You know Kemba Walker's not afraid of the moment. To me, that makes sense if they go that route.
Now, but that only makes sense for Philadelphia because
Well,
because
sure.
Oklahoma
I mean,
because yeah, but I mean you can't. I mean
well, think
you
about it
only.
this way. Think about it this
What
way.
do the
What?
Thunder have to gain from getting Ben Simmons on their team?
But the Thunder's garbage. And
Right. Why
here's
would they add
my.
another garbage player?
But well, is Ben Simmons
Who's on a
garbage?
who's I mean, but you know what I'm saying. Let's be clear. You know what I'm saying. You know what his
Sure,
ceiling is.
sure,
And
sure,
and and let's be clear. He's at his lowest stock point right now.
sure.
Coming off there. Like I don't.
Right.
I
So
don't know what Philadelphia has to offer Oklahoma City for Oklahoma City to feel like, ooh, we need to have we gonna take Ben Simmons for he can run around and pass the ball when he should be making dunking on niggas and like I don't see that.
well, let's remember this. The salaries, if they don't match, they're really close. Kemba Walker's on this huge contract. They just gave Ben Simmons money. So obviously there won't be an issue in terms of
You sure
swapping
about their
contracts.
contract, their money being similar?
Well, I
Because I
said if it
know
if
because
it I said if it doesn't match, if it doesn't match, then they're not far apart from each other. Like I don't think like I
Because
don't
let's
think
be
it's a
clear, and
situation.
I say that to say
Okay,
because Ben Simmons got his contract on the potential that he was going to be one of the bigger players in the NBA. Kemba
sure.
Walker got his contract based on the fact that he
Free
was going to
agency.
be well, but more so, yeah, free agency, but
Hmm.
that he is a like nobody has Kemba Walker being at Ben Simmons' highest potential, stage wise, like talent wise. Like
Sure,
Kemba Walker is a very good point guard. Kemba Walker is pretty much at his ceiling. I
sure,
think Ben Simmons is at his ceiling, but they paid him and gave him that contract under the
sure.
idea that he was going to grow to his potential.
Right.
So I don't know that money. I don't know. I mean, and I don't know. I just don't know.
But I'm just
But
talking about in terms of a trade. I'm not talking about whether one guy's worth the money more than the other guy's worth the money or not. I'm just talking about in terms of the physical trade. Can you swap a player for a player if the money is, while it doesn't match, the money is not far apart in terms of, okay, we can make this a simple trade and maybe add a pick or a player as a part of the deal. But what I was going to say earlier was is that if a team like Oklahoma City won't do that trade, like to get Ben Simmons, what other team, that's not garbage is going to do that? Like the teams that are in the playoffs, none of those teams want Ben Simmons. At least in my thinking, none of those teams want Ben Simmons. I would think a team like OKC would want that. They know they're not going anywhere. They know that they're starting from the bottom.
I disagree. I think that in a trade, I agree, and obviously we're talking about trade because Ben Simmons isn't being cut or anything of that nature. But
Sure.
I think a playoff team that got shooting, that has shooters on their team, would love a Ben Simmons on their team because he don't got to start.
Mm-hmm.
He can come off the bench, slash, play defense, and do all those things he do where the pressure is not on him as a starting guard to shoot the ball. So I think there are teams that could use his services. Plenty of teams that could use his services, just not as a number one guard that
Right.
is expected to shoot the ball. Like in Philly, they wanted him to develop a jumper. It became evident because of their lack of shooters on the team that he is a guard that has to shoot, and he's not a shooter.
Right. Right. Um, this isn't breaking news. I just wanted to throw this out there because I got the TV on and the lottery is on right now. The Pistons have the number one draft pick. If that means anything to anybody, it doesn't mean much to me. But Rockets have the second pick. The Cavs have the third pick. So
Okay.
whatever that means to anybody. I'm talking playoff basketball right now. Yeah, no, I hear
Well,
what
why
you're
would
saying there. I hear exactly what you're saying in terms of the trade and all that stuff. I'm just in my head, like if they want to make this, like if they're really serious about getting rid of this dude, then it's gonna have to be with a team that's not really good because no team that's looking to contend is gonna want him.
Yeah, I kind of disagree with that. I disagree with that sentiment that a playoff team that's contending wouldn't want to have Ben Simmons. Again, I think a team with shooters. I think a team that if
Golden State,
I'm just
maybe.
I'm literally just throwing
Like
names. I
that would be a
mean,
fit. That might be a fit.
yeah, because he's not asked to be a guard, a number one guard that's on the floor that got to take shots. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? He can kind
Right.
of come and go, play some good defense. Like his role, like I think we're seeing the reduction of his. I think we're getting ready to see the reduction of his role from that guy that has the potential to be one of the greats to that guy just being a good guard who can
Yeah.
shoot, who can play defense and who can get to the rim.
Right.
I think we're
Right.
seeing his trajectory being changed, and but it should be changed
Yep.
because
Yeah.
he's not a shooter, and clearly if all those reports are correct, he don't have no intentions on trying to become a shooter. So it's like, all right, well, because you're certainly still an asset to somebody somewhere, but
Yeah.
but let's reduce your role. Let's start making Ben Simmons a 6-man candidate.
And I think a team like Golden State would benefit from his defense also, because I think that's
Yeah.
something that they're lacking as well. So, Utah Jazz, disappointing
Jazz.
ending. Disappointing ending.
I didn't really believe Utah. So I mean, Donovan Mitchell is on his way. But I'd be lying to you. I didn't really believe Utah. So no, for me no. For me no.
I personally don't think it's a disappointing ending. I didn't like the fact that they had to play without Mike Conley for the first few games of that series against the Clippers. But one might look at that and say, well, wait, they lost Kawhi Leonard. Utah should be able to win this series. And I kind of thought the same thing, like, oh, the Clippers are in trouble now. And Paul George decides, hey, I'm going to be PG-13. I'm going to be
respect.
playoff P, whatever they want to call me, and respect to Paul George. What he dropped 37 in Game 5.
Because I watched that game. I watched that game, and I'm like, oh, this dude is not playing right now. And And all intents and purposes, and let's be clear, I still look at him like a Robin. But when he want to play like that, come on, man.
Yeah, he can.
When he want to go like that, he not settling for jumpers. He can. I mean, he can go. He can roll with the big boys. When he decide he don't want to shoot jumpers, he can go with the big boys, man. And
he can slash. He can slash to the basket. Yeah.
Yeah,
he can definitely do that.
He can do that. So I mean, and we knew he could do that. So it's like, props to him. Props to Terrence Mann on that closeout game. Reggie Jackson in that closeout game.
Probably the greatest, or one of the greatest role player playoff performances I've ever seen. Probably. Terrence Mann, yeah.
Yeah.
That was something special. Man, 39 points, I think he dropped in that game.
Like 37, 39, something like that.
37, 39, yeah, they were down double digits, came back, and I mean, with the help of Patrick Beverly, a couple threes,
corner shots, like just corner shots, and in a couple of drives or whatever. But I mean, it's not like he was going crazy, like in the sense of. Like they was giving him the ball and he was just, running all over the floor making buckets. He was just in his zone, running his sets, and he was the guy open and he was taking advantage every time, he got the ball. Props to Terrence Mann for being efficient. Being efficient in that game and taking making the shots that he was given, making, doing what he was doing when he was given the opportunity.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
Facts for that.
I mean, with that, I mean, and I mean, if we are fast forward into that Western Conference Finals,
Which is about to come on right now, game 2, right
Yeah,
about now.
yeah.
Yeah.
I got the Suns.
Yeah, I gotta change my pick, man. I originally had the Clippers. I had the Clippers
Yeah.
because I thought the Kawhi Leonard thing. I thought, okay, this guy's gonna come back, and
Hmm.
he's just gonna take over, and he's gonna get the Clippers to the finals. But this thing, it don't sound good, bruh. Like
If the Suns are smart, they're going for a sweep. Did not even give Kawhi an opportunity to get back.
an opportunity to get back. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. This might be the first time I've ever changed a pick like this. I got to go with the Suns on this
Yeah.
one because
Yeah.
I just don't see how Kawhi gets back in time, and I'd be happy for Chris Paul, man. Like
Yeah.
if he can get to the finals finally after what he's been through. I mean, not just in his career, but throughout these playoffs. You know what I mean? To be on
Yeah.
protocol and, he's not playing tonight, so he's got another couple of days to figure out whether he can, come back or not.
Come back.
But,
Yeah. And we should. If it's COVID, you kind of got to think that he'll be back by next
yeah,
game.
yeah. More
Maybe.
so than Kawhi. Like, that was always the
Yeah.
thinking for me going into the
Yeah.
series was that Paul was going to be back before Kawhi had a chance to come back. But yeah, I gotta roll with the Suns. I'm a gentleman's sweep. I think I'll get the Suns in 5. I'll
Yeah.
give the Clippers a game.
I
But
agree.
respect to Ty Lue, man. Respect to Ty Lue.
Is Ty Lue the best coach in the league right now? I've been hearing this for the past couple of days. That he should be regarded as the best coach in the game, and I didn't have an argument, but I didn't have an opinion. Okay.
I think he's on his way. If he can get to the finals, then I think it's got to be cemented. Because look, everybody talks about he won the title with Cleveland, but it's LeBron's team, so he's kind of been overshadowed in that regard. So he comes to the Clippers, he gets the job. They're down 2-0 to Dallas, and I had the Mavericks winning that series, and they come back in a crazy style, winning Game 7 at home when nobody else won their home games throughout that entire series prior to that. So he gets love on that front. Number 2, being down 2-0 to the Jazz, and then coming back, and then even losing Kawhi Leonard in the process, losing the best player in the process, and then you still got PG-13 doing what he did. Ty Lue was on his way, bro. People want to be upset about it.
100%.
I don't care.
I 100% agree that he's on his way. Who's better right now?
I mean, Spoelstra. I know they got swept and all that, but Spoelstra's got a reputation. At least he's got a resume of coaching some good teams, even teams that that didn't have LeBron James on them.
Is he? And I'm just throwing names. I'm not saying it because I agree or disagree. Do you think he's better than Tom Thibodeau right now?
Eric Spoelstra or Ty Lue?
No. Ty Lue. Is he better than Tom Thibodeau?
I don't think so. I don't want to. I don't want to go that route yet. Thibodeau, what he's done with the Knicks, that deserves some love. Ty Lue.
He's better than Nate McMillan.
Is he better than Nate McMillan? I think he's no. I think I got to give McMillan a edge on this one, man. Hey, ask the Indiana Pacers, is Nate McMillan better than Ty Lue?
Yeah. I tend to agree. I don't know if I can give him that right now. The other I guess hot take that I heard in the past couple of days is that Devin Booker is the next Kobe Bryant.
I'm not ready to go there yet.
Yeah, neither am I.
Devin Booker is Devin Booker. Can we say that?
Oh, yeah, I like that, but it's sports. We got to compare.
I know, I
It's
know,
just,
I know,
we don't have
I
nothing
know,
better to do. We don't want people to have their
I
own
know.
legacy until the end of their legacy. So that's yeah. But I agree with you. I can't do that.
I can't do that
Maybe.
yet.
Maybe it's me being sensitive to Kobe Bryant because I'm just starting. I never really cared for Kobe Bryant as a player. Obviously, I always respected his game, but
Neither did I. Yep.
but I was never like a big fan. I never started to get to like Kobe Bryant. Obviously I
Hmm.
don't know him, but he was a much more likable figure retired than he was as
Yes.
a basketball player for me.
Yep.
So now like I'm kind of like overdoing my love for Kobe now that he's passed, and
Mm.
and he's this likable figure to me now. So it's kind of sensitive to me. I can't say that he's the next Kobe Bryant yet. I can't put him in that plateau yet. I won't.
Um, I'll make this point. Since Kobe passed away, rest in peace. A lot of young players talked about their time with Kobe, right? So Devin Booker's talked about spending time with Kobe, working on his shot, working on his game. Jason Tatum has come out and talked about spending time with him, and I know some people that have made Kobe comparisons to Jason Tatum, which I'm not going to do that. With
Mm-hmm.
respect to Kobe, I'm not going to do
Mm-hmm.
that. But that's another guy that um, we talk about. That's one of those guys, you know what I mean, in the league, one of those up and
Mm-hmm.
coming young, young cats,
Yeah.
coming up and whatnot. So I think that whole thing, and I heard it. Stephen A. said it on
Yeah.
First Take. Yeah, a part of me thinks that just comes from Devin Booker spending time with Kobe, and maybe Devin Booker just kind of, getting some of that Mamba info from him and kind of taking it to his game and things like that. A lot of young players have said that post
Mm-hmm.
Kobe Bryant's life. So I just wanted to say that. Props to Nate McMillan. I don't want that to go unnoticed. And he made my Knicks look like some trash in the playoffs. But Nick McMillan needs to get a
Yeah.
contract ASAP. I don't know what
ASAP.
that situation is in Atlanta, but
Yeah.
that dude. I mean, he
ASAP.
fits. He fits with that team, though. It's not
They
just
clearly like
what
him
he's
more than they
done.
like Lloyd Pierce.
Right, right. You're absolutely right about that. But for me, he just somehow fits that team for some reason. It's not just what he's done to help Trey Young and some of those other guys, but it's just for some reason he kind of fits what the Hawks are trying to do down there,
Mm-hmm.
and I just don't want that to go unnoticed. Kevin Herter, 27 points in Game 7 on the road.
Um, Look, man. Look, I Atlanta is just inexperienced enough to go hard and beat the Milwaukee Bucks. They don't have nothing to play for. They wasn't even supposed to be here.
Yeah,
Their confidence is on an all time high. They
yeah.
beat
They can play
the
free. They can
yeah,
play free.
they can play free and like I said, as undermatched or undersized as they are going against Milwaukee, they're just stupid enough, and I mean that in respectful way. They're stupid enough to go out there and beat the Bucks in 7. I'm not picking that. I'm just saying they're stupid enough to do
Right,
that. I
right, right.
so look,
Yeah,
props to Nate
they
McMillan.
believe. They believe, man.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look, man.
They
Like I
believe,
said,
bro.
nobody had him being here. Nobody had him. I
Nope.
mean, I remember picking him as an eighth seed at the
Mm-hmm.
beginning of the season,
Yep.
and obviously they were a 4 or 5, and
Big
and then
five
they
seed. Yep.
5, then they beat, like I said, they beat the Knicks, and for all intents and purposes, not a lot of people had the Hawks beating the Knicks. They
Upset. They
certainly
upset the Sixers. They upset the
for
Sixers.
certain upset the Sixers,
Mm-hmm.
and here they are against Milwaukee. Like their confidence is on an all time high. Like I said, I'm not picking them, but I wouldn't be surprised if they go to a game 7 and shock the
Boy,
Milwaukee Bucks.
Boy, that
And
legacy, that legacy on Giannis, boy. That woo. That
I heard Nick Wright say
mhm.
that maybe I don't. Maybe it was okay. This is what Nick Wright said. Nick Wright said that if the Hawks go to the finals, he usurps Luka Doncic as the best young player in the league. Your take?
Mm, he usurps Luka Doncic.
As the
Uh,
best, he would that Trey Young would officially be the best young player in the game, right? If he goes to the finals.
and I kind of understand how this topic came about because of the draft and the trade
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
when these two players got drafted. So I get that. And by the way, there's another guy from that draft who's playing right now in these conference finals, and that's DeAndre Ayton, who's been balling
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
to this point also. Yeah, I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready for that. Because
Okay.
Luka Doncic is averaging a triple double.
Going
You know what I'm
crazy.
saying?
Yeah, he's going
Like,
crazy.
yeah, he's going crazy. Yeah, Trey is not at the level where he's going crazy. But I will say this though, and Trey impressed me in Game 7. His shot wasn't there. At one
Mm-hmm.
point, he was like 2 for 18 or something like that. Shot wasn't falling, having an off night, but he was getting guys, hitting them in spots. He was setting up Capella in the paint. He was setting up Herter, certain moments when Herter wasn't getting his own shot. He was setting up other guys, John Collins. And by the way, did you see that shirt John Collins had on of him dunking on Embiid with the
On the Embiid,
yeah. That was
yeah.
a dope T-shirt right there. I almost thought about getting one myself, but
Man, you better get on to this wave, bruh. I'm gonna talk to you about that offline though.
yep. I'm gonna get him to it. But listen, Trey Young, when his shot wasn't falling, he was still being effective in the game by getting others involved. So that's what I
Mm-hmm.
could appreciate about his, about not just the performance, but I know that moving forward, he can do things like that if he's not having a good night. So that's what I could
Yeah,
appreciate about him.
yeah. I mean, he the truth.
Mm-hmm.
He's small, but he know what he's doing, and he faster than everybody right now. So it's just
Yeah.
like I said, man. They Milwaukee better not mess around and let the Hawks beat them, man. That's all I got to say.
They
That's all
they
I
are
got to
the
say.
they are the most experienced team in the playoffs.
Giannis
Not
Antetokounmpo better not let Trey Young beat him in the conference finals.
without Kawhi Leonard in these playoffs, the Milwaukee Bucks are the most experienced team left. They better win the damn thing. They
Yeah.
better win. Hey, just one more thing, man. So I think it was last week Wednesday, which was like a crazy day for like NBA news, with Chris Paul and Kawhi not, playing in these games and stuff, but coaching changes. So your team decided that Scott Brooks was not going to come back to coach the Wizards. The Pelicans decided to fire Stan Van Gundy, which also deserves a clap.
You know who trying? You know who trying? You know who trying to get that job, right? That Pelicans
Make them
job.
say, nah. Yes,
I
sir.
read
Yes,
that
sir.
today. I read
Yes,
that
sir.
today and chuckled. I did chuckle first, but
Uh-huh.
second, look, man. If Jake, man, get Master P for coach of the Pelicans, man. That's
I
how
ain't
I'm
even
going.
I ain't even
That's
think
how I'm
twice.
going.
I ain't even think twice the moment I saw the headline. I was
I
like, yo,
laughed, man. I chuckled,
give that man the head coaching job in New Orleans.
man. He gonna have
Bring
all
that
them
man
niggas.
home.
He gonna have all them niggas running businesses off the court. He gonna have them niggas running 15 businesses off the court. And he
Uh-huh.
gonna get fired that first year because they not gonna be good. But give him the job. Give him the
Right.
job.
Right. Man, yeah, give Master P the job. I like that. There's
He
no
gonna have
question.
all them
There's no
niggas.
question
He
for
gonna
me.
have all them niggas stocks playing stock in the stocks and bonds. He gonna have them niggas gonna be starting businesses, and niggas ain't even gonna be on the court. Niggas gonna be like, man, I can't come to practice because I got these businesses I got to run, man. He gonna be turning them niggas into moguls. He gonna be turning that whole roster into moguls before they play a good basketball game, man.
Master P is New Orleans, period. Like, I mean, there's nothing much to say after that. Like, what he's done for hip hop, the industry, being able to get deals and not get screwed over. And
I'm still looking for that Master P jersey, that Charlotte Hornets jersey.
Right, and to be able to play preseason games with not just Charlotte but with Toronto, that one year, he's New Orleans. This would be like, and it's so crazy because they've been in the news for not the right reasons, right? So they fired the coach, right? The relocation. They fired the coach, and then there was this thing that came out about one of the people that's closest to Zion saying that, they'd rather Zion play for another team. And that got me riled up because I was like, hey, if Zion, if y'all trying to move Zion already, his boy in New York already, why don't you come to the Garden? I was already psyched about that, but nah,
right.
But like them signing Master P to be the head coach of the Pelicans, that would bring so much press, so much attention, like some of the best attention that they've had. Yeah, they'll get some hate too. Sure, they'll get some hate, but this will be like their feel-good story.
Yeah,
in a long time.
Yeah, I agree. Master P for head coach. Yeah. Master P for head coach, man. My lad, I got one more thing. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to ask you if you had a preference for coach for the Wizards.
No, I don't. I don't. I don't.
Oh, okay, you just haven't thought about it. Okay, I got it.
I don't. I don't have a preference. No, I mean Chauncey Billups. I heard Chauncey Billups is high in the rankings for it. Yep. But I mean, I'm just happy Scott Brooks is gone. I'm happy of that.
Right.
But really at this point, I'm more concerned with what's going to happen in the backcourt than I'm concerned with who the coach is going to be. I'm more concerned with that right this second than who the coach is going to be.
Mm-hmm. Well,
like Beal's tell me if you're going to tell me if you're telling me,
Beal's going to be there, right? Beal and
know.
Westbrook's going to be there, right? Or you think
never know.
It's possible?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, you never know.
That's
true. For the past 3 years, they've been trying to get Beal out of Washington.
And he don't want to go.
You never know. Yeah, I don't know. So,
or at least he says he doesn't want to go. But he could change.
That could happen quick. For real, he might be lying. Mm-hmm. We all know that. We just got finished talking to somebody who was talking about they're going to lie to you.
Yeah,
that's what they're going to do. They got a one band, one sound. This whole thing. So they're going to. So he might be lying this whole time, just waiting for the right situation, the right type of money.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
But if we can keep them together, the backcourt together, then I want to know then I'll worry about who the coach is going to be. I know for certain that I don't know how they're going to reassure me of that, but however they reassure me of that, then I'll be more concerned about who the coach is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What was your last thing?
I just wanted to send prayers out to Vikings rookie defensive tackle Jalen Twyman, who was shot 4 times yesterday. Visiting his aunt in D.C. I had never heard of Jalen Twyman up until this point, but he was shot, just wrong place, wrong time, visiting his aunt. Prayers, get well soon. They say he should be fine. He should recover and all those things. But to my folks in the DMV, come on, man.
Gotta do better.
They say wrong place, wrong time, but I'm always thinking like well, what did he? Did they look at him like he was food and try to get him? I always think about that.
Yeah.
But all that aside, prayers for him and the family, and I hope everything goes smooth and we can get you back on the field as soon as possible. Playing for the Minnesota Vikings, man. But definitely prayers out to Jalen Twyman.
Yeah, prayers out to him, and hopefully he recovers quickly from this. As
Oh,
the season's about
one
to come
more
up too.
thing. My fault. We did not talk about this track star, and no matter how much I tried to get her name right before this show, Sha'Carri Richardson.
I pronounce it as Sha'Carri Richardson. Yes, I don't know if there's another
Okay.
pronunciation for that, but I say Sha'Carri
Shout
Richardson.
shout out to her doing her thing her way. She going to Tokyo. She going crazy. And obviously, we just got finished talking to somebody, giving us some insight on her. She looking like she about to be the next thing, in track and field. So shout out to her. I didn't want to make. I wanted to make sure we gave her a shout out before we got up out of here.
Yep, no doubt. Just want to give a special shout out to ABM. Shout out to BS3 and Big Kev 303. Shout out to everybody that entered the Facebook Live chat tonight.
Salute.
Appreciate the support and everything. Make sure y'all continue to follow us on our Facebook page. Click the like button. Also follow us on social media. We got the Instagram account at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Also, we're on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2. We also have the YouTube channel. So if you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you got any questions, comments about the show, you can email us at barbershopsportstalk1@gmail.com. And Maestro, just one more thing. Promotional point right here. After you guys check out this episode, make sure we're gonna upload this episode a couple of days from now. We had a young lady on our platform. Her name is Sheena Quick. She is a North Carolina Panthers beat reporter for the Panthers, and she also has other platforms. She's got the Halftime Report blog on revolt.tv, and you can check her out on Twitter and other platforms. So make sure you guys check out her interview on our platform. And if you got nothing else, Maestro, I'm ready to, get on downstairs and get to work.
All right, boy.
All right. Y'all stay safe out in them streets, and everybody one love. Peace out. See y'all next week. Peace.
Love.